right, ladies and gentlemen, we have game 2 here between Puzzle and Polt. We have the Protoss player, the red Protoss, at the top of Belshire Beach, and we have Polt Prime down at the bottom. He's going to be the blue Terran, and oh my god, dude, I want to play Diablo 3 so bad.
Oh, it's okay. You'll get a key eventually.
I
Still
hope I
your
will.
beating heart, HD.
Oh, I will reach my octopus tentacles out and get
That
a key from where I can.
was disgusting. I'm joking.
something about casting with pain user so much gets the vocabulary very twisted in your head.
I've noticed. You're gonna I love
Right? For sure, dude.
that. For sure. No, I love that. Like your first metaphor you run to though is an octopus tentacle. That speaks volumes.
Yes, I know.
But anyway, here we go. The map is Belshire Beach. And we've seen games on this before in these qualifiers, and the Korean players love proxying structures or just hiding structures here on the top. I imagine if this gets into the expansion phase that Polt is going to go ahead and put his expansion up there. But I don't know if he's going to opt for that same 1-1-1 style here. Walk distance is a little bit longer. Or if Puzzle's going to do something a little bit all-in-ish of his own to try and hit back against that.
Yeah, you make a good point. This map has a much further rush distance, so the 1-1-1 may not be as good as, say, on the map like Zonon Caverns, where the rush distance is right next to each other. So we'll see what Polt does, and we'll see after Puzzle experiencing this all-in from Polt, what is he going to do? Is he going to prep for a possible all-in? Is he going to go for the expand again, knowing that this is Belshire Beach and it is a big map? And another thing he could do, which would work wonders, is try to leave that scouting probe alive and get a delayed scout in to see what the Terran is doing.
Yeah, he may very well do that. Looks like he was actually moving to the back here. I guess you want to check for these red hidden structures, things like that. But of course, at this stage in the game, there's not going to be anything there. So there, acts like he's leaving. I looked at Polt's vision, and I don't think he was able to see that. So if he buries this probe up here, I don't think Polt is going to take a look at that location. Although we'll find out. Marine going to make his way up. Aw, poor probe.
Upgrade.
See, I was kind of getting at that before, is like the delayed scout is so hard for Protoss to do. So maybe on a map like Belshire Beach, since there's so much surface area inside the main and so many different areas, it's kind of easy to hide a probe. But unfortunately, Prime's all over that. Polt Prime, he is going to kill off that probe. And now we have the Protoss operating in the dreaded dark against the new day and age Terran.
And we'll see how Puzzle responds. He's got 2 gas down pretty early. That's going to give him flexibility between doing a sentry expand or actually going up to attack at this early stage of the game, which is certainly possible. Stalker number 1 just about to pop up, and I don't believe he produced a Zealot. No. So he is just going to go ahead and go with Stalkers for the time being, and maybe hide a little bit of tech here over to the top left-hand corner.
Yeah, he is chrono boosting that first Stalker out, and its rally is set over to the front of Polt's main here. And, you know, I'm thinking about this right now. You know, a Stalker can range the supply depot pretty easily, especially on a map like this where there's no ramp and it can just attack it from the normal distance.
Ooh.
Getting back to the game at hand, though, we do have a command center coming down from Polt. So, you know what? Gonna switch it back up to a more standard playstyle. And, you know, considering, like we said before, it's Belshire Beach, it's a big map, I don't hate it. And on top of that, Puzzle has got to be wondering, am I getting all in? And he's probably going to have to switch up his playstyle because of that.
Well, he did put down a robotics facility right away. Now, Polt did see that. Has he lost one scouting probe? Or a scouting SV? He has. This is actually his second one, and it's going to get him pretty valuable information. Stalker tried to make his way in and do a little bit of damage to these Marines, but the bunker did finish in time and drove it away. And the SV is going to repair up the little bit of that bunker that was actually hurt. But, taking a look, Polt is just going to do a Hellion expand. He already has 2 out. He's producing 2 at a time. And frankly, Puzzle's not terribly prepared for any sort of a Hellion attack. Once this first Stalker is dispatched up, those Hellions are actually going to be quite powerful.
Well, the Stalker is going to be able to run away, I think, almost pulling off that Marine. Stalker versus the Hellion. Hellions don't do so bad against Stalkers, actually, but in this case, I think the Stalker is going to win, kills it off. Very well played right there by Puzzle. But Puzzle is going for that quick robotics facility, and it looks like a 1 robo 3 gate into expand is the deal here for Puzzle. So Puzzle, you know, not quite sure what the Terran's up to, has to get the robotics facility in case of a Banshee, has to get the 3 warp gates down for production, and now is going to expand after he has the robo bay. So basically, it's like a 3 gate expand plus 1 robo.
Yeah.
Actually, it's just 2 gates, sorry.
But just because of the head games that Polt was able to play in the last game, he's actually significantly ahead in terms of that expansion timing. So here come the Hellions, and they're not quite going to take down those sentries. They're going to start going to work on the pylons down here. Observer gets into Polt's base and sees exactly what Polt is up to. Does see the starport coming up and is going to get down here and see an expansion in just a bit. Yes, indeed. All right, so Hellions here at the top left-hand corner. We're doing work on the pylon. Not going to be able to kill it. The Immortal and the Stalker coming out to make sure that those Hellions are driven away.
Yeah, so now Puzzle can, I guess, kind of breathe a sigh of relief. I mean, it's kind of a double-edged sword. One, it's like, okay, I'm not getting all in. And two, it's like, oh, crap, I didn't expand in time. So now Polt's a little bit ahead. But I think with that mindset in his head, I think he's going to be more determined now than ever to win this game in a macro war. And actually, he's rushing for a Warp Prism, so gonna make use of that robotics facility regardless, you know, because it was just kind of there, and he doesn't really need those Immortals this early on, but it's gonna be nice to have that robotics facility, and he uses it to make it a Warp Prism, and we'll see if he can make this work.
Yeah, we've already seen that sentry drops are really effective.
Oh, yeah.
And on this map, they're really cool as well, especially with the way that Polt actually made his structures. He would be forced to lower or lift structures out of the way to be able to... God, he's actually walling that in a lot. I'm actually foreseeing a situation where Warp Prism right here and then a bunch of sentries. But Hellions' position was found out by these Stalkers. They forced the Hellions away. But yeah, Warp Prism with a bunch of sentries right here. That's going to be ridiculous.
Oh, okay, I thought that was a Warp Prism for a second moving on the ground, but it is a Viking, and the Viking actually gets a full scout off on the pylon going down in the south. So that gives a little bit more information to Polt as to what's going on the map, and it looks like here comes a Warp Prism loaded with 2 Immortals, in fact. I wonder if he's going to try to ferry them into the main, but it looks like there are some forces outside of the natural right now, and the Warp Prism is making its way into the main.
Oh, and there is a factory up, so Polt is going to be aware of this. We'll see if he pulls any forces. And it looks like he doesn't know what forces he wants to pull because this frontal attack is coming through as well. Guardian Shield's going down. These Immortals not all that effective against the Marines. They've got to start just busting bunkers. So the Immortals are going to fall pretty quick. One goes down. He doesn't actually pick it up with the Warp Prism. Warp Prism starting to regain some health. This other bunker, though, is so close to falling, and it does go down. And now SCVs are going to start falling.
Yeah, SCVs are going to start falling in because of that pylon out there. There are more reinforcements that have arrived, warping in through that proxy pylon to the left, and it looks like Puzzle has made some kind of a strange timing attack actually work. And don't forget, the Warp Prism can deploy and warp in additional reinforcements. So here comes some more Stalkers, and additional SCVs are going down, and I love what Puzzle's doing, punishing the Terran player here, knowing that he was behind an expansion, has to kill as many SCVs as possible, and in fact, he may just win that game outright.
We'll find out, though. These Marauders are very hardy, and now there are just weak Stalkers left over, or weak Marauders, I guess I can say. And now, Polt is actually reinforcing pretty well. He has a medevac in the composition. In addition, Stimpack not quite finished, about 50 seconds away.
Save.
And does pick up units into the medevac as well. Very nice job driving off the Warp Prism now, and the attack has been repelled.
The attack was repelled, but you know what? I think that with that attack in mind, I think Puzzle only evened out the game in terms of economy. No, actually, he's considerably ahead. I think a lot more SCVs went down than I thought.
Yeah.
So, wow, 21 SCVs. That's a lot more than I thought he killed. I thought he killed like maybe 10 or so, but damn. He's doing pretty well for himself then.
Damn, indeed. But to Polt's credit, there are only 4 Stalkers and a sentry on the field against the Viking medevac, 6 Marauders, 6 Marines. Looks like this Warp Prism going to try and come back in for another go, but it may be intercepted by this Viking. If it is, that's really bad. Oh, poor Warp Prism. That is indeed going to go down. Not going to be able to warp in any units as well. Going to try and get the last remaining bit of the scout, but can't.
Yeah. It's unfortunate that Warp Prisms are slower than the Viking by default, because it makes it so hard to use Warp Prisms against Terran. I think that's why a lot of Protoss don't do it, except maybe Whiterun. But regardless, the Warp Prism did go down, so Polt can breathe a sigh of relief, doesn't have to worry about drops anytime soon. And it looks like he's going to move out across the middle. An Observer, though, really well placed on that little island in the middle, is going to see the entire army moving out, and we'll see what Puzzle does to respond to that.
And Polt actually hasn't been building workers. Okay, there he goes with double production again. He actually had about a 2-minute period where he didn't build a single worker and started falling farther and farther behind, actually down 28 workers to just 52. Now, granted, 3 meals in the mix. His economy is not that much worse, and he can support the amount of production that he has. And it looks like he's going to turn this into an attack. Here he goes. Force fields at the front. They force the stem out of Polt's units, but they're not solid force fields, and he's able to run around and pick off the Zealots. And with the Zealots going down, that's critical. The Immortal is going to fall pretty quickly as well without getting that many kills, and then the Marauder's going to be able to chew up the rest of these weak units.
I think Polt just turned it right back around. I mean, he decided that, hey, I'm so far behind, I'm just going to go for a big counterattack, cut all SCV production, try to do whatever I can, and he did kill a lot of workers, and he still got a ton of Marauders there. No Immortals in the mix for Puzzle, and this could be bad. It looks like Puzzle may have to engage to save his Nexus, though, and he can't, of course, lift off the Nexus, so he's got to pull probes off the line. He's got to defend right here and now. Can he do it, though?
I don't think so. He's warping in all Stalkers right now, and that with Medevac Marauders is actually really weak composition. Look at those, they're getting one shot at the moment. Just a handful of Stalkers remain, even though these Marauders are very low, and the Zealots are forcing them back a little bit, but Medevac has been doing work. Just one more Zealot left, and then Polt is going to be able to crush through the rest of these forces, and they're the reinforcements. That's what I was looking for. Fresh troops making their way up against the very small token force of Stalkers, and that is not going to be enough. Looks like probes are being pulled off the line. We'll start to see that worker count neutralized.
Oh, the dropship was killed, though.
Yes, the dropship was killed, but there's still only Stalkers remaining.
There are still only Stalkers remaining. That is true. No Immortal coming out here for Puzzle. He just simply doesn't have the gas to make an Immortal. The factory ended up burning down, and more additional reinforcements have arrived. It looks like Puzzle has to GG, and Polt takes a second game.
Polt wins 2-0. That advances him into the semifinals here, putting him one victory away from that vaunted $1,000 guaranteed prize plus flight plus hotel. So congratulations to Optimus Prime.
Indeed.